Let's hear from Anthea Page now. She was recording last week at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. The festival, now in its 64th year, is the largest performing arts festival in the world, with over 2,000 international companies taking part. This interview is with an American, MacDonald Hamill from New York, who's appearing in her own show, Mary&Will, at the Fringe.
Mary, you've come home to your roots.
That's true. But you know, my family always said we were Irish, and that was it. And then I came to visit Scotland, and I saw my mother's face everywhere.
Tell us about your theatrical life.
Moved to New York in my early 20s. I started working in summer stock and then off-Broadway and on Broadway. I worked constantly for 10 years.
Here at the Edinburgh Fringe, what's your show called?
My show is called Mary and William. I'm Mary, and William is William Shakespeare. It's called that because, the way the show started was I wanted to understand Shakespeare better, so I started memorizing all the great speeches. Yeah, and I memorized and learned about 35 main soliloquies and speeches, and I started performing them. And my audience had to point this out to me. The way I had lined them up, they were telling a story, and it was my story. So I started filling in the spaces with different episodes from my life, which has been very, very dramatic and very poignant and very disturbing and very ambitious. Yeah, so ended up with this. Had to keep cutting away the Shakespeare, cutting away, which was heartbreaking. But it still remains, but it's a shadow of itself. What's left is I can tell you that I do Hamlet, and I do Cleopatra, and I do Lear, and I do Prospero, and I do Juliet. But in the play, they're not those characters. They're Mary's voice, when Mary can't speak, or when Mary has something to say that just needs to be said, in a certain way, Shakespeare says it.
So you use him to express your
Yes,
feeling?
I do. Yes, exactly.
Could you just give us a little snapshot from the plays and how you've linked that to Shakespeare?
I was sent away to boarding school when I was a young teenager, and it was absolutely horrendous.
Why was it horrendous?
Well, it was horrendous, first of all, because my mother had preceded me there, and my mother is this wonderful, sweet person that would never, ever do anything wrong. And I was sent away because I was just a problem child. And also my grandfather, and I talk about this in the play, had endowed the school. But even when my mother was there, she was treated badly. So then I come in, this problem child, sent away in the middle of my junior year. And so they're gonna straighten me out, okay? There was a lot of cruelty going down, and of course I didn't fit in at all. I came out of a public school system in Coral Gables, Florida. So there's a scene in the play where I am called into the Mother Superior's office, and she's holding in her hands a letter that I've written. Now, all of our mail was censored, and I had given, I don't say this in the play, but I had given this letter to one of the day girls to mail for me. Somehow, I to this day do not know how, it fell into the hands of the Mother Superior, and so I've been summoned. And there I am in the office with her, and there she is with my pale blue sheets of stationery covered on both sides with my handwriting. There's a shaft of light piercing the air between us, and I slip into it, and I slide up it to its source. A small oval stained glass window, a miniature white dove hovers there, its wings outstretched against the golden background. Shine on my contemptible estate, and in a vision full of majesty, God's mother deigned to appear to me. St. Joan, from Henry VI, Part 1. Her aid she promised and assured success. In complete glory she revealed herself. And whereas I was black and swart before, with those clear rays which she infused on me, that beauty am I blessed with which you see.
What other trauma in your life can you relate to with Shakespeare in the play?
There's an incident that happens in childhood between my father and I. Let me see. Okay, so he's on his deathbed, and it has to be resolved.
Are you able to talk about it on air?
Well, I don't actually want to, because it's very hard for me to talk about period, and I have to do it on the stage, and somehow there's a privacy. I don't know why. It just is. But I'm on at his deathbed. I say there's nuns gliding in and out, and they're strangely sweet for some reason, and the palm trees are through the window. They're like stretching their shadows towards the bay, which is still as ice. You know this death is coming up at any moment. Conscience doth make cowards of us all, and thus the native view of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment in this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. And I slide my hand into my father's hand, and I'm not going to say it now because it's like the pinnacle of the play, what happened, but a miracle occurs. I talk about very personal things, and it's been healing for me. And the play actually, it should be healing for anybody that has unresolved issues with their parents or things in their life, or has a dream that they have not been able to follow. It's a play about that. The play is called Mary and William, and it's at the Gilded Balloon at Teviot Square.
That was Anthea Page talking to Mary&Will at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.